The 1976 classic The Outlaw. Josey Wales gave us one of the greatest casts in Western history. David here, and what happened to these legends in 2026 will leave you speechless. Stick with me till the very end, because the final name on this list will hit you the hardest. Hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss a single second. Clint Eastwood, Josey Wales. Clint Eastwood, born Clinton Eastwood Jr. on May 31st, 1930 in San Francisco, played the legendary outlaw Josey Wales. Before this film, he was already a huge star from the TV show Rawhide, The Dollars Trilogy, and Dirty Harry in 1971. He didn't just act in this movie, he bought the book rights himself and fired the first director, taking over the job. He shot the entire film in just 39 days and stayed under budget, which started his famous quick working method. During filming, he began a secret affair with co-star Sondra Locke that lasted 14 years and ended in painful court battles. After this, he made Unforgiven, $1 Million Baby, Gran Torino, and American Sniper, winning 4 Academy Awards. He has 8 children from different women, and his longtime partner, Christina Sendera, died from a heart attack in July 2024 at age 61.
You keep standing around like that, someone's gonna burn the hell out of you.
Today, in April 2026, Clint is 95 years old and turns 96 on May 31st. His final film, Juror Number 2, came out in October 2024. He now lives quietly between Carmel by the Sea and Hawaii, playing piano and making art alone. His son Scott says he is a survivor, a trooper, the last living legend of the classic Western era. Even at 95, this Hollywood giant keeps proving that real legends never truly fade away. Sondra Locke, Laura Lee, Sondra Locke, born Sandra Louise Smith on May 28, 1944, in Shelbyville, Tennessee, played Laura Lee. She was already a rising star, earning an Oscar nomination at just age 24 for The Heart is a Lonely Hunter in 1968. She got this role after starting a secret romance with Clint Eastwood during filming. He was still married at the time. The relationship turned into a 14-year romance and 6 more films together, but it ended in betrayal. In 1989, Eastwood locked her out of their home while she was at work. She filed a famous palimony lawsuit and later wrote a 1997 tell-all book called The Good, the Bad, and the Very Ugly. She claimed Eastwood pressured her into 2 abortions and a tubal ligation surgery. She married her childhood friend, Gordon Anderson, but it was a lifelong friendship, not a real marriage. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1990 and later bone cancer. She died on November 3, 2018, at age 74, but her death was kept secret from the public for almost 6 weeks. On screen, she was Hollywood's golden romantic lead, but in real life, she was trapped in a relationship she could never escape.
But that's only because you got filth in your brain.
Her painful silence behind closed doors is one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking truths. Chief Dan George, Lone Waddy. Chief Dan George, born Geswanouth Slahoot on July 24, 1899, on Burrard Reserve in Canada, played the wise Cherokee elder Lone Waddy. Before acting, he spent his whole life as a logger, longshoreman, and musician. He didn't even start acting until age 60. Eastwood saw his Oscar-nominated work in Little Big Man from 1970, and personally insisted only him. On set, Eastwood gave him room to improvise, which gave us his most famous line, "I endeavor to persevere." Off-screen, Chief Dan George spent decades in poverty, raising 6 children on a logger's small pay. He was a real hereditary chief of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation in British Columbia. His wife had passed away in 1947, and he lived a humble life on the reserve. He used his late fame to fight for Indigenous rights until his last breath. He became frail in his final years and died on September 23, 1981, at age 82 in North Vancouver. He spent 60 years as an unknown working man, then became a Hollywood star at age 70, opening doors for every Native American actor who followed. His late life rise proves it's never too late to chase a dream. Have you ever seen someone find real success after the age of 60? Tell us in the comments who reminds you of this incredible man. Bill McKinney, Captain Terrell. Bill McKinney, born William Dennison. McKinney on February 12, 1931 in Tennessee, played the cruel Captain Terrell, the man who killed Josey's family. Before this, he was a former Marine and lumberjack who struggled as an actor in 1960s Los Angeles. Eastwood loved his terrifying performance in Deliverance from 1972 and cast him without even an audition.
We don't know what you've done, and we don't care. That's none of our business.
McKinney became the gold standard for Western villains, with ice-cold cruelty in every glance. On set, he stayed so deep in character that other cast members reportedly avoided him between takes. This typecasting hurt his career. He was almost never given lead roles or kind characters. He went on to make 6 more films with Eastwood, including Bronco Billy and Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. In 2003, he reinvented himself by releasing a country folk music album late in life. He married once and had 1 son, keeping his life very private. In his final years, he battled esophageal cancer and died on December 1st, 2011 at age 80 in Los Angeles. Here is the shocking truth. The man who played Hollywood's most evil killers was actually a trained classical opera singer in real life, with a beautiful, gentle singing voice that almost no fan ever knew about. Behind that frightening face was a soul filled with music and quiet kindness. John Vernon, Captain Fletcher. John Vernon, born Adolphus Raymondus Vernon Agopsowicz on February 24th, 1932, in Saskatchewan, Canada, played the conflicted Captain Fletcher. Before this role, he was a Royal Academy-trained Shakespearean actor who performed on the great stages of London. Eastwood wanted a voice like a mountain for the role, and Vernon's deep, booming, basso voice nailed the screen test perfectly. Only James Earl Jones had a voice that could compare. On set, he was quiet and professional, often finishing his scenes early. Off-screen, he became frustrated being typecast as villains after his iconic Dean Wormer role in Animal House from 1978 made him a comedy icon. To stay busy, he turned to voice acting in animation, which gave him steady, late career income. He was a devoted family man, married to Nancy West for over 50 years and raising 3 daughters. He reportedly read poetry to them at bedtime. In his late 60s, his health declined due to heart trouble. He died on February 1st, 2005, at age 72, from complications during heart surgery. The man with the most terrifying voice in Hollywood was, in real life, the gentlest father, and that booming voice still echoes in every evil Dean character you see in movies today. A frightening screen villain with the warmest heart at home, a true Hollywood paradox.
Who delivered the medical school cadavers to the alumni dinner? Every Halloween.
Paula Truman, Grandma Sarah. Paula Truman, born on April 25, 1900, in New York City, played the feisty frontier matriarch, Grandma Sarah. Before this film, she was already a Broadway veteran with a stage career stretching all the way back to the Roaring '20s. Eastwood didn't want a polished Hollywood actress for this part. He wanted real grit and old-school toughness. At 76 years old, she was the oldest cast member, but she refused to use stand-ins for any of her physical scenes. She kept up with the younger actors and even with Eastwood himself during tough outdoor shoots. Off-screen, she had quietly outlived most of her old Broadway friends and contemporaries. She never married and never had any children, dedicating her whole life to the stage. After this film, she returned mostly to theater work in New York. The film introduced her to a whole new generation of fans. In her frail final decade, she lived alone in her Manhattan apartment and died there on March 23, 1994, at age 94. Here's the funny part. The woman who played a tough frontier, Grandma, had lived in a Manhattan apartment her whole life and had never ridden a horse before this movie. At 76, she proved that real strength has nothing to do with age. Who is the toughest grandmother in your own family? Tell us about her in the comments below. Sam Bottoms Jamie. Sam Bottoms, born Samuel John Bottoms on October 17, 1955, in Santa Barbara, California, played the dying young Confederate soldier Jamie. Before this film, he had already broken into Hollywood at just 15 years old in The Last Picture Show from 1971. By 1976, he was a familiar young face with buzz building from his upcoming role in Apocalypse Now. His most powerful scenes showed Jamie weak and bleeding in Eastwood's arms, heartbreaking moments that stay in viewers' minds forever. On set, he bonded deeply with Eastwood and later called him a mentor and father figure. His biggest personal struggle was always living in the shadow of his more famous older brother, Timothy Bottoms. After this, he played the surfer Lance in Apocalypse Now from 1979, then mostly worked in television shows. In his 40s, he reinvented himself by becoming a film producer behind the camera. He had 2 daughters and stayed close to his 3 brothers. Then tragedy struck. He was diagnosed with an aggressive brain cancer called glioblastoma. He died on December 16, 2008, at just 53 years old. The cruel twist? He played a young man dying tragically on screen twice in his career, and then he died young in real life from cancer. He gave Hollywood some of its most heartbreaking young performances ever filmed. Quiet, humble, and deeply talented, Sam was loved by everyone who worked with him. His early death left a wound in the film world that has never fully healed. Geraldine Keams, Little Moonlight. Geraldine Keams, born on August 19, 1951, in Flagstaff, Arizona, played Lone Wadi's gentle companion, Little Moonlight. She is a full-blood Navajo Dene woman raised on the Navajo reservation by her grandmother, who was a rug weaver and traditional teller of legends. Before this film, she studied drama at the University of Arizona and performed off-Broadway theater in New York City. The Outlaw Josey Wales was her very first film role, and she was discovered through Native American theater circles. Her authentic Navajo presence was very rare for 1976, when most Native roles still went to white actors. Eastwood let her speak the real Navajo language on screen, which was groundbreaking for that time. After this, she struggled with typecasting and limited roles for Native women. She kept working in Twin Peaks, Northern Exposure, Sons of Anarchy, and Big Love. Her turning point came when Disney hired her as a consultant on Pocahontas. Today, in April 2026, she is 74 years old and still working actively in shows like Reservation Dogs, Dark Winds, and Rutherford Falls, where the showrunner called her Navajo royalty. She lives quietly in Pasadena, California. The amazing twist? Her small 1976 role launched a quiet 50-year career that made her one of the most respected Indigenous actresses in Hollywood today. From a small reservation in Arizona, she rose to become a true voice of her people in cinema. 5 decades later, she is still inspiring young Native actors to chase their dreams. Geraldine remains living proof that humble beginnings can lead to extraordinary heights, and that is the truth behind every legendary face from the Outlaw Josey Wales. Some left us too soon, some are still shining, and one icon is quietly living his final chapter. Which cast member touched your heart the most? Tell me in the comments below. Smash that subscribe button now. More legendary casts are coming your way.